Hi friends, so today I'm going to give you like a little tutorial of how to use the Kiss Salon Dip system right here. These are all the parts included in it. These are some tips. You have natural and like a French white included in the kit. Um, this is the 3-in-1 glue, gel activator, and top coat. This is the activator that you use at the end. Um, this is the salon dipping powder dish. I think this is actually better than the professional ones because it's so small. A nice little file, I should say. It had a coarse side and a finer side, and of course the dip powder. There's also a couple of brush tops that would go in the gel activator bottle because that can tend to get like kind of stuck. Right here, as you know, you should always push your cuticles. Always try to trim them the best you can. I actually was able to like peel off a cuticle on my thumb here. I hope that's not too gross to look at. But and you always want to do the same prep as usual that we're used to. Meaning like buff the nail, apply some dehydrator. Right now I'm struggling to open up the nail tips. And again, half of the box is natural tips and the other half are like a French white. I would say the French white tips, that's usually my least fun way of doing a French. I think there's better ways of doing it, especially like with dip. Um, it just and especially like I've seen people do the French white tips with like clear acrylic to do someone's nails with in a salon, and it's like, gosh, you go there, you want to get your nails done for the artistry. I don't want like the easiest way because generally they want to charge you at least $40 for doing a French acrylic. um, so when like I literally had a guy do that to me, but he gave me a big discount on it, thankfully. Um, Also with nail tips, you always want to measure it from sidewall to sidewall correctly and just make sure it fits. You don't want to look at it and be like, oh, it's just about there. Because by the time you actually put on the acrylic, it's always going to shrink the nail a bit. Like you ever go to a nail salon and then after like for a few days your nails feel kind of sore? That's generally because they use slightly too small of a nail tip on you. Um, and I like this kit because they had a lot of different sizes. I think I had the Ardell press-on nails in a previous video and it was like one size. It wasn't really too big in difference. This is the dipping powder. This is like a light pink acrylic powder, and I think it's just a touch grainier than regular like acrylic powder. And right here I have the gel activator, the 3-in-1. Um, it actually says on the instructions for this product to apply it into the well. So again, it's your glue, your gel activator, and top coat. I don't know if a lot of people do this. I think the wells are usually a little too deep. So what I like to do is I just like to trim it just a little bit, just that little hairline amount, and then I would file it just a little bit so it's smoothed out. You don't want it to be like jagged on your finger because I mean, obviously that's the French tip, like you're gonna see it. It's not gonna look as nice. I think I'm just applying it to a different tip right here. Maybe pinky, probably the pinky. Yep, there, it's on the pinky. The pinky is always my most favorite nail to put the nail tips on. I think it's because it's like, oh, it's the baby nail. Yeah, but here I applied most of the nail tips on here. Oh, a thing about the nail tips is that make sure that you like apply it at a similar length amongst all the nails. You don't want one to be where it's too thick, another one where it's too thin. You want it to be about the same on all of the nails. Oh, here's the tricky part. So I decided, since you guys, my viewers and subscribers, oh, make sure to hit the like button for me so I can be in that YouTube algorithm. Thanks so much. I decided that, my viewers, they might not have a nail tip cutter. So here I'm just using a regular, it's like a large nail clipper, with like a, it's not the one that's straight across. It's the one that's curved a little bit, but I think that actually works better for this, because if you use one that's straight across, it's gonna rip it right off. That has happened to me. And I don't know if I would use a small one either to cut off the large nail tips, because it's going to be more work. It's going to be that extra crunch down, and you'll be more likely to rip it off. And you don't want to like rip off your nail tips. You work so hard to put those damn nail tips on, and then for them to get ripped off, it's like, ugh. And that did happen to me on my thumb. I can't remember exactly if I have it in this, if I kept it in this video, but yep, just finishing up. The thumb is, yeah, you'll probably see it right here where I like ripped it off. Yep, there it goes. That's the point that I ripped it at. But hey, it happens. And you can always just apply like a little bit of glue, or in this case the 3-in-1. I don't know how I liked that 3-in-1 system. Like, I thought it was clever, but I think it's, you get like a more quality product just using regular SNS. Okay, so right here I am just filing the free edge of these nail tips that we cut. You always want to do that. You don't want to like apply the acrylic and then realize like, oh my god, the tips on here kind of scratch or they're uncomfortable. You always want to make sure to file it just a little bit. And here I am putting a little bit of that 3-in-1 because that was the one that lifted a little bit. Always use your tools. That's the cuticle pusher. But always use your tools. Don't ever put like a boundary on your tools, like, or rather, like, don't put a wall up against it. Like, you can always use your tools for other things. I don't know if this was like my favorite dip powder system to use, because I mean, obviously, like, I think the professional SNS brand is actually easier to use. And this version, it's like, the way you're getting the French is you're using like a French white nail tip. I don't know if I don't like that. I think it looks kind of cheap. And I think it's actually easier and it looks so much nicer when you do the professional French dip white. And it's the first time I had done it, I had a really good result from it. It looked really good and it was like my first time. So even if it is like 4 or 5 bottles, and I don't know about the area you guys live in. I'm lucky to live in Orlando. In Winter Park here, there's like 4 nail supplies. So, and the one place I went to, they didn't even ask for a license. You can like walk in there unlicensed and just buy it. It was 45 bucks for like all the bottles, but that's not so bad. Okay, so I don't want to get too ADHD, but right here, I just poured the dip powder into the dip powder dish, and I tapped it at the end there. I don't know if you saw it, but you every time you push your finger into the dip powder, you always want to tap it. Otherwise, if you stick your finger in there and it's not tapped with like to a smooth surface, you can end up having it like uneven, and you don't want that, especially with like a product like this. I would say if you had practice with this particular dip powder system in 4 or 5 applications, you could probably get a good handle of it. Since it was my first time, obviously it was not like perfect looking. Oh, and so when you do this, when you do the dip powder, you want to apply that 3-in-1 about halfway, then dip, then like 3/4 of the way dip, and then you want to do maybe like 2 hairs to the edge of that cuticle. You don't, I wouldn't go over the cuticle because it'll be more likely to lift. And you always like want to give it like a couple of seconds after each dip to for that gel activator and the dip powder to really mingle, because that's where like the real chemistry of this happens. And you saw the brush earlier, you always want to like dust off the powder. You don't have to use that kind. If you have an old makeup brush, that should be fine. And you just want to like gently go like dust off the powder. You don't want to dig the brush directly into that fresh dip because it will get messed up. You always want to be gentle with it and brush horizontally. And you don't have to brush off the powder back into that dip powder. Actually, the professional brands, they recommend that you not do that because it could react with the other like bits in there, the other particles in there, and it can clump. And it does clump. I ruined the base dip powder I had recently. And yeah, that's all, you guys. Thank you so much for watching, and you will see me soon. I have another full like review of the product, and you guys have a great day. Take care.